You are welcome to another episode of No Gray Areas with Sazzy. Yes, this is actually a continuation of what we started from the beginning, and it is a talk on mental health. If you are new here, you are welcome to this channel. Please hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications when we upload a new video. On this channel, we talk about possible issues of life. We talk about real situations of life, possible ways of handling them, and hopefully surmounting them as well. And I'm still in the building with my guest, the mind coach, the mental health coach, family clinician, my sister as well. So we're going to beam our light this time around on what we call shame and which other one? Grieve. Shame and grieve. Now, shame and grieve is something that a lot of people have been going through from time immemorial. And so we really want to shed more light on shame and grief. So the coach is here and we'll continue with from where we stopped the last time.
Okay, thank you, Sazzy, for having me back again
Welcome.
on your
Gracias,
show.
gracias.
I'm so excited. You don't know what I am. Okay, so you see, previously I talked about grief and shame.
Yeah.
Because I'll be concentrating more here on grief. Because a lot of us grieve one way or the other. Unfortunately, we don't know because we don't even understand what grief is.
Yeah.
So I earlier said that grief could be the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of businesses, the loss of job, the loss of a relationship, a marriage. You know, when some when some persons have lost their relationship, they are married, they are going through divorce processes or separation. Some persons grieve in that process. So those things are grief. So sometimes we don't even understand that. So we just take it as I break up, my marriage no work. But it's a big thing for a lot of persons. Yes. So before I go into that, I would want to share an experience and a story that I once heard about, or I once experienced through someone. So one of these days, I got a call from someone telling me that her house was leaking. And I was like, your house is leaking, what happened? Was there a breeze or rain or something that... He said, no, she doesn't even know why. That her house, the ceiling was open, that I should come. In 3 days consecutively, she was calling because I was so busy. So one of those days I went to her house. When I got there, she told me her ceiling was open, her roof or something. I checked. I didn't see anything. So I was wondering now what's happening. She now said she's not comfortable staying here. She will want to go to my house with me. I said, okay, fine. She came back home with me. She stayed with me. When she got home, I now asked her, I just asked her a question. She now started reporting a particular person that I know personally to me. When she reported this person to me, I said, this story does not look like this person because I know her personally.
It didn't add up at all.
It didn't add up.
Yes.
And I was a little bit concerned because it's someone I know very well. She's even a friend of mine. So when from that person, she moved to another person. She moved to another. In fact, in one conversation, she had moved to almost 10 persons, if not more, of how they offended her, how they betrayed her, how they thought she was a child, how she said a lot of things. So we spoke from that evening till midnight to 12. And when I wanted to sleep, I said, okay, I'm tired. I needed to sleep. I'll go in. She will call me back again that there are more things she wanted to tell me. And I'll come out. I was so tired because this conversation continued for more than 3 days. And when the conversation was not ending, the pain, because she wasn't eating, she wasn't sleeping. Do you know what it means not to sleep for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days?
3 days.
Do you know what that means?
That's a lot.
And a lot of us, we don't sleep, and we say we are pursuing our career, we are pursuing our goal, we have to pursue this, we have to pursue that. Let me tell you, sleep if you don't do that, you see this body, there is a way God has framed us and helped us to manage our life. If you don't take time to rest, this body, you will break down.
Collapse.
It will collapse. When you abuse the body, it will collapse.
And you can't cheat
and
nature.
you can't cheat nature.
Yes.
So for days, she didn't sleep. And she started hallucinating in the process too. She was not talking well. She was not talking straight. So immediately, I just knew that this is an issue, because that period, I had started going through my trainings on mental health, but I was not certified. So I saw some sign and I knew this was an issue. So immediately, we got a psychiatrist, not a psychologist, to assess her. So in the process of that assessment, we're able to realize that this girl, one of the stories she told us in the process when we were talking was, she was telling me, she said, am I not a baby? Am I not a child? Am I? So she started even asking me, do you think my dad is dead? Are you sure my daddy died? And all those stuff. And when I knew her, she had told me her dad died when she was young. I said, oh wow, sorry about that. So when she started telling me, am I sure her dad died? Is he awake? Is he dead? Is he living? Am I not a baby? It became a thing of concern. So when I got a psychologist, we started assessing, and at the end of the day, one of the things we realized was that while she was young, about 7 to 9 years of age, her dad promised her that tomorrow I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that for you, let's go and sleep. She strolled with him. Unfortunately, when it was daybreak, the father did not make it alive. He died. Now, when the father died, she was a small child. It is assumed that is a child. She does not know. She does not understand. She may not have feelings. She may not even know until later. You see, this is how we ignore and undermine the emotions of our children.
Of children, yes. Of children.
So now, for years, this matter was not addressed. Sometimes when she talks, she always tells them that anytime she's saying something, that's how people say she's been paranoid, she's been angry, she's been aggressive. That no, but this thing she's saying, is it not the truth? And I didn't know. We didn't know that there were underlying issues.
The foundation was that she was
when we
grieving.
found out, when we found out, we knew she was still grieving. She was offended. She was angry.
Her
father just moved just like that. Because they were, according to her, they were very
She was fond of her father.
Yeah, fond of her father. And he went. And she didn't recover until then we're talking. To cut that story short, we started addressing the issue and the situation through the help of professionals. So don't undermine that.
Yes.
And that was how we started her process.
Yeah.
Back to this topic of grief. You see, there are certain scholars, school of thoughts, that have talked about grief one way or the other. They have talked about stages of grief. You know, in grief, there is a stage called the denial stage.
So denial?
Denial stage.
Yeah.
You know, that stage that even this lady, even after 20-something years, she didn't believe. She has not believed.
Didn't come to accept that her father was actually
dead. So that denial stage can stay for long for some persons.
Yeah.
You understand? And in grieving, you don't tell people how to grieve. Everybody has their grieving process.
That's true.
When I'm crying, when I'm hurt, when I'm broken,
yes,
you should not tell
you
me,
let
stop
people
crying.
cry.
Let me cry.
It's okay to cry.
It's okay.
It's okay to
cry.
Yes,
you don't say, waiting, you don't cry rich now, you don't do, stop. Then they cry, you go die or you go kill, you won't die. You see, sometimes we say those things to people because we don't understand their grieving process. Even some people grieving don't even understand their processes. They have not taught a lot of us how to grieve. Has anybody in your lifetime told you this is how to grieve? When you want to grieve, do it like this.
Nobody can
can go, you understand? So you don't need to advise people how to grieve. You understand? People have their
let
process,
them go through the process.
Through their process. Another thing is, again, in grief is the angered stage of grief. I told us about the denial stage. Now I want to let you know that with the way I'm listing it, they don't usually follow.
Doesn't go in a particular
order.
Yeah.
With some people start from denial and come back to another stage. While some people start from the anger. Do you understand? So for some persons, there is a phase of grief which is the anger phase of grieving. This phase of grief, they are bitter. They are hot about why must I lose my relationship? Why must I lose my investment?
Yes. Why should this happen to me?
Why should it happen to me?
Yes, that's where you get it.
After all, I did my visibility study.
Exactly.
I did my business plan. People helped me. I met professionals.
It was a viable one.
It was a viable business.
Yes.
This man was loving to me. This woman was the woman of my dreams.
I sacrificed
for this person.
Yes, yes.
Why must this person leave me at this stage of my life?
Yes.
The person is angry. That stage of angry is another stage is bargaining. You feel vulnerable and helpless during this period when you are grieving in this stage. Bargaining. You would want, these are the moments of intense emotion. Intense emotion, you are feeling like it is not, you see this bargaining, a process when people start asking questions is that, why is it that my husband or wife had to leave me? Now you're looking for questions, and those questions sometimes when they come
unanswered,
they are unanswered.
Yes.
You're angry. Now that is another stage of grief, is bargaining. Another stage of grief again is depressive phase. That is the depression phase, where you feel like quitting at this stage of grief. Like I earlier talked about Prophet Elijah, he was at that depression phase of grief, where he said, I did all this, I did this and I did that. Right now I am alone. Why will you leave me alone? Why will you leave me comfortless? Why will you leave me at this phase of my life that there is a woman pursuing me when I've done this and that?
Like when you need someone the most,
you
get nothing but silence.
Yes,
silence.
Just like that. You say, God, someone is saying that when she catches me, she will give my neck to the carcass. He was depressed. He was at that depression stage. And there is another stage called the acceptance phase of grief. Acceptance phase that okay, I am not happy, but at the end of the day, life just happens. He just left because he may have left because there are certain things I didn't do well. She might have left because there are certain things. Anyhow, life happened. Some people just go as far as the shit just happens.
Yeah.
Some people say men has come. After all, this is how men are. Do you understand? So this stage, some persons have accepted that this thing happened and I should not kill myself.
Just move on.
I just move on. And these are the phases people go through in grief. So, and in these phases, you see pain, you will see guilt, you will see anger, you will see frustration, you will see depression. These are the things that happen through grief. You see, and you see, when people are grieving, sometimes we say, just allow them to be on their own, don't disturb them. Sometimes such is hurting. You see, you may be talking to someone, okay, I know, I can imagine how you feel. I know he left you. I know those words, those times may not make sense to them. Sometimes even just being alone with them, not saying a word, may not make sense to them. But after a while, they are already accepting the phase they are. They will remember those moments. So I would want to advise, don't leave people grieving alone.
Yes.
Don't leave them alone. When you see them grieving, as much as you can help, For some, if it's just cooking and bringing for them.
Yes.
For some, you may say, can I take care of your children
Yes.
for a few days? Do you think I can? Just ask them. Let them say no.
However you can help.
However you can help.
However you can help. Yes.
Ask them. Reach out to them deliberately.
Yes.
And
Spend some time with them.
Yes. Sometimes you could just leave your own family.
Yes.
Go to their own side.
Yes.
And stay for a few moments, few days, if possible.
Sometimes it's okay to let them vent.
Yes.
They should just allow them talk. Just allow them vent. You're not contributing. You're not doing anything. But they are just talking. You just want to listen. All they need at that moment is a listening ear. No judgment at all. No corrections at all. You just want to talk. I can imagine that.
You know, as human beings, there are things every human being wants. Every human being loves to interact. Every human being loves to be heard. Every human being loves for someone to be able to communicate and interact with them. So when we lose these two things as humans, how to be heard, to connect, to relate with people, and to talk with people. When you lose it, you lose their individuality and their human thing from them.
It's like you've lost your right to live in.
Yes.
So you've lost your right to live in.
Sometimes during grief, some people just want you to just listen to them. No matter how stupid, no matter how uncalculated those words are,
no matter how tactless, because sometimes they can be very tactless. When one is grieving, they can be very annoying. Very annoying.
That when you go, so I remember one of those days I was able to stay with someone in the hospital that gave birth through a cesarean section, because she was in pain. I mean, severe pain. She talked to me badly. I want to touch her and she shouts. And she's far from my junior. I sat down and I just looked at her. I didn't say anything, but she understood my silence. So it doesn't mean because I'm grieving, I'm not saying. I always say this in our local palace. Say, I where they cry, they see road. You understand? So even when people are grieving, know that they observe.
They still see. They still know what they are doing.
They are sensitive.
They will come back to their senses. They will come back to apologize after a while.
I was somewhere where someone was actually, the mom was not feeling fine. So I went with someone else and we were a little bit far from where they were sitting. So we were saying certain things and we laughed in that statement. Why she was in the other part while her mom was not feeling fine. Because I laughed with someone else while she felt offended that we came around where someone is not feeling fine and we were laughing. And I felt bad about it. I said, oh God, was it that I wasn't sensitive to her? Or was she just being too paranoid and angry? For me, I understood how she felt. At least I could imagine because of probably my understanding and experience. Do you know such kind of thing can break relationship?
True.
You may just what did I do that? So I just say, okay, this is so
you need patience.
You need patience when you're dealing with people that are grieving.
You need patience.
Because sometimes they may say words to you that are really going to hurt you. But you see, if those words they say to you hurt you badly and you cannot handle, sometimes you could just walk away. You can vent to yourself. You can cry. You can feel bad, and please come back and hug them because it was just for a moment.
So can we say that this grief can actually lead to shame? Because, you know, like for instance, the case of divorce. There are some people that go through that process of divorce and they feel like, you know what, I failed. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a mess. I couldn't just handle a marriage. And maybe you're seeing people way younger than you doing marriage like it's easy.
Marriage did not work, probably due to domestic
violence,
abuse, physical,
mental
violence, financial abuse, and all of those. And you walked away from the relationship telling yourself you failed. You see, one thing in mental health, in CBT, it is not what happened to you that is the issue. it is the interpretation
of what happened to you,
of what happened to you, that is the issue.
becomes the issue. Okay.
You see, most times people just die. But when people now say he died because he didn't listen to me, she died because before you know, the interpretation you give to it is what hurts.
Yes.
You understand? The interpretation you give to the fact that he walked away from the failed relationship, it is the problem. It is not what happened. So you now start telling yourself that I failed. And it may you start telling yourself you failed. You said it to yourself, to your hearing. Your mind received it. Before you know, it starts functioning in your body.
And shame comes.
Shame comes in. When people pass, they talk and they just greet you and pass. You
feel they are talking about you. People laugh out loud. You feel they are mocking you. Feeling secure.
You feel
yes.
ashamed that,
yes.
Are you sure they are not talking about me? Because when you see people, you interpret their feeling, and you interpret it to excess. You interpret it to even what they are not even thinking about. Before you know, you start hurting yourself.
So it means that sometimes this shame thing could be self-inflicted.
Yes.
So sometimes we inflict shame on ourselves. People are probably not even talking about you. They're not thinking about it in that direction. In fact, people are probably sharing in your pain.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's true.
Yeah.
People are even sharing in your pain. People are worried for you, genuinely concerned about you and worried for you. But for some reason, because you have told yourself that you are a failure. So I think it's part of it is what you tell yourself.
Yeah,
it starts from what you have.
You see in people's action and what you've said to yourself that makes you start feeling overwhelmed. Is there anything new under the face of the earth? Divorce is not new.
Yes.
Premarital sex is not new.
A failed business
is not new. What are you calling? That it may be new to you because you're just experiencing it. Sometimes it's just for us to clean our body and ask for people to
hold our hands,
and help us move
till you heal.
I remember
healing
the
process
time I was
well.
Financially crippled. I was sharing my experience. I had to talk to my friends about it. That see where I am. Some of them will laugh at me, and I will laugh it out. Some of them will just say, "Oh God, I'm feeling so bad about this situation."
Some might support.
Some of them
encourage
just
you.
Ruth, can you send your account like this?
Yes.
And what is it? They wasn't that they would talk about me. You see, most times it's we that are thinking it. And it's like they'll be talking about me. They are begging for money.
Gossip you.
They gossip me. They gave me money. Someone gave you money. What about it? Someone dashed you. Oh, you even asked for the money.
You should ask for help.
Ask for help.
Asking for help is part of living.
It's part of life. That is part of the interaction.
Asking for help. You should be ashamed of asking for help.
Yeah. So sometimes you shouldn't be ashamed of asking for help.
Don't be ashamed
when you
of
have
your
a problem. Because sometimes those things that are hurting you, that are frustrating you, someone around you has
a solution to that problem.
To that problem.
Yes.
So that issue. So I would want to please beg of us and please plead. When you're going through grief, hurts, miscarriage, betrayal, loss of job, loss of friendship, relationship, marriage, child, husband, whatever you're going through, learn to pause and talk to people that could help you at a particular time. When your emotion feels down and you want to question certain things, feel free to question those things and ask the right people certain questions. They may just be of help and support to you. Sometimes we really don't know why we have to go through certain things.
True.
Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes it takes us years to know.
Yes.
Sometimes it takes us the moment to know. Sometimes it takes us our lifetime
to know.
So wherever you are per time, I would want you to pause. Ask yourself certain questions. Explore your feeling. When you feel so sad, depressed, and you're feeling so bad about the situation, learn to ask for help.
Yes.
And ask for help at the right place.
Yes.
And you will get help. And one thing is to ask for help. Another thing is to receive the help.
Exactly.
Because it is not everyone that has the ability to receive and accept help.
Yes, true.
You understand? So asking for help is one thing. Receiving the help is another thing. Because sometimes help is around us, but we are not taking it. Because we have a mindset. So I would want to stop here today.
Thank you so much. I'm sure somebody has a lot to gain today. I'm so sure about it. Thank you so much. So in conclusion, I would say that surround yourself with positive-minded people. Surround yourself with people that love you. See, you will know people that love you genuinely. So when you are dealing with grief, when you're dealing with shame, you know the right people to go to. You know the right people to talk to. If you don't have anybody to talk to, reach out to Sazzy. I know how to also get you linked up to the coach, at least for her to walk you through the process. You have never been married before, and if for some reason the marriage failed, well, big deal. You just need help to move on. Oh, the loss of a child, you have never experienced it. Somebody has experienced it and conquered it. Oh, you lost money, huge amount of money in that investment or business, or you lost your job. There is somebody to talk to. There is somebody to reach out to suit the pain you're going through. Sometimes in life, you really cannot go through life's journey alone. We always hear this word, nobody is an island. So when you are going through that pain, reach out to somebody. When you are going through that grief, talk to somebody and take a realistic view about yourself. Know that at this moment I need help. When you know that it's time for you to need help, please ask for help. Accept what you're going through and ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help because you will get over it. Tomorrow you might be the person holding the next person's hand to take them through the process that they are also going through. So you never know why you go through your life journey. I have my life journey to go through. She has a life journey to go through. Every one of us will have a life journey to go through. But the most important thing is for us to learn through the process, grow through the process, and become better people at the end of the day. So you see, grief, shame, whatever it is called, can be worked on, can be resolved, and before you know it, you are a better person.
You're a better person.
Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you, coach, for coming here.
I want to say one last word to you right now.
Last word.
Build resilience daily.
Build resilience
daily. And number 2, learn how to develop your well-being. Your well-being is very important. Building resilience is what we have talked about in every
nutshell.
And 2, your well-being, when you're broken, speak about it. Talk about it. When you're broken, learn how, when you feel so down alone, learn how to connect with others. Give. When sometimes your solution may just be you giving someone. Sometimes your solution may just be you connecting with someone. Sometimes one thing that could help you is learning new skill to help your mind, because it helps our mental health. You understand? So these 2 things, build resilience daily, and 2, you must invest on your well-being. Anything that will make you feel well on a daily basis, go for it. It is about you improving your academics, go for it. It's about you going to learn new skill, go for it. It's about you connecting and helping people around you, go for it. It is about you developing new things to help your mind, go for it. And I think and I know by doing these things, it will help you daily. So staying happy is the key. Staying happy, not like faking it. You're not faking the happiness, but indeed from inside of you, you are happy. That's key. So that everything around you also will just go smoothly. Thank you for staying glued to us. See you next time on another episode of No Gray Areas with Sazzy. God bless you. God bless you. Bye.